Okay, here we are. I'm with my friend Ashley here. We just watched another video. We're gonna kind of talk some rhetoric about this video. We watched Rihanna's Man Down, which came out maybe I think in 2011, and there was a little controversy around the video actually. So we're gonna talk about that. So Ashley, what did you think that the message of the video was?
Um, Normally when you hear about rape victims, they end up like crying, upset, and then their raper gets away with it. Mostly they don't report it, or through the court system they get away with it. But instead of going through all that, she just said, "I'm just gonna take care of it myself," and she shot him and killed him. So she sought out her own justice.
Okay. Yeah. So the video was about Rihanna's in a club and some guy pushed up on her and kind of tried to abuse her, and then basically he ends up dead the next day because she shot him, and that's what the whole video and the song's about. If you haven't seen that, it'll be there on the page. Um, but really, the fact that she kind of went outside of the normal system of justice. So that's what Ashley's talking about now. And when you think about that, you could tie that back to black women being outside of systems of justice because those systems weren't really designed to protect black women in the first place. For example, if we go back to, slavery, if we go back, a couple years, if we go to today's news, there's Marissa Alexander who in Florida invoked the Stand Your Ground law as she fired a warning bullet towards her husband who was abusing her and is now in jail for, you know, 20 years to life or something like that. So these laws and systems of justice that she typically could have went to. Rihanna in the video could have went to the police, but really at what cost? What would have really happened? A lot of times we hear about rape statistics, and those statistics are actually off because so many crimes go unreported because it's just like the women feel like what's really gonna happen, So that's part of it. What else like stuck out to you in the video? Anything else like kind of?
Um, I think what stuck out to me was that she seemed to be very friendly in the video. She knew everyone. She seemed like the sweetheart from around the way. And she seemed like a really chill girl. But a lot of times when you hear people saying how not to get raped, they say, oh, well, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, that, and third. And it has nothing to do with how she presented herself because she didn't present herself in any way that I would see that would make her or cause her to get raped. She seemed like a sweet girl or anything like that. And it just goes to show that the things people say that you should do in order to not get raped, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with your raper.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely a big part of just being a woman in general in our society today. Kind of places the blame on the victim at all costs because our society is a system that's kind of set up to support men and support patriarchy in a way that is very detrimental and very violent towards women. And so when Rihanna's like singing a song like this and making this video, that does cause some controversy because some people be like, oh, gun violence, oh, the video is violent, but you're taking it out of context. You know what I mean? That she's not violent just to be violent. She's violent with a very very specific and purposeful and meaningful cause. And so that's just part of the reason that especially when it's a black woman's video.
Paying too much attention
Yeah.
to the reaction and
Yeah.
not the actual cause. Like she didn't just pull a gun out on somebody.
Exactly.
It was a whole story. She
Mhm.
got raped and
intense
then she shot him.
Yeah. And I know something that stood out to me was definitely that this was in um Barbados, right? So this was shot in Barbados, and this is really non-American central, not Central American experience with. I think Barbados has a more vibrant club and like party culture. Maybe that might be more sexual than what's considered the norm in America. So that goes back to part of what you're saying was that how women are supposed to present themselves in that culture. So if the culture is sexual and party, are women supposed to not be part of that in order to save themselves from being raped, or how do you navigate that as a woman? But the fact that this is in a country that's part of the global south, so this is not only under the radar to the global world, you know, what's happening to these black women in this party culture in these countries where, their GDP is not, whatever. They're American, they're just not as powerful as, you know, first world countries. So what happens in those countries to women most often gets really shoved under the rug. So we talk about cops here, cops there, that might not even be an option. Like, are there rape statistics in Barbados and, Chile, places like that where they don't have power where women especially don't have power. Exactly. Exactly.
Especially as a black woman or a woman of color.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. So that Rihanna is operating kind of with that worldview, but she's in America is powerful even because she sees that and she can see that, and that really draws attention for us women of color in America to broaden our understanding and our kind of just our image of what we see as our sisters, as our other women of color, because it's not just Spanish girls. So if it's not just Indian or Chinese or Asian, any other kind of culture, but there's also like a whole nother level of third world and global southern like women that are really struggling even more than what we think we are now. And so that really challenges us to really broaden our perspective and take a bigger look at some of these issues.
The thing is, the whole song was about her running away because she knew once she shot him that she was definitely going to be put into the court system, etc., etc. But if she hadn't shot him and reported him to the police, it's a iffy chance of whether anything would have happened.
Yeah.
So it's funny because now that she shot her rapist, she's scared because of what's going to happen to her because she shot him and she knows all these things are going to happen. And that's not the first time that a woman has done something in order to protect herself, defend herself, and then she ends up in trouble. Like you mentioned, the woman in Florida, she shot a warning shot, but then they turned it around and said, oh, well, there were kids where she shot at the wall and all these other things. And it's just like,